the race goes to Socken, but what about second and what about third? White Squall is closing in on the second place boat, and I think White Squall is going to take it, but he's running out of racetrack.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to all of you fans around the world, and welcome to eSailing TV. My name is Thomas Bjørn, and we're going to host tonight's final. It's the Japanese VRI Sailing Club final, and I'm not going to do it all alone. I'm going to do it with my dear friend, Mr. Alec Wilkinson from Great Britain, and we have him online with us, but it's like Britain has been in a Brexit, so right now we have some internet issues, so we have him with us in the commentator booth tonight, so you won't be able to see him. But let's try to bring him in. Alec, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. You are loud and clear. Welcome in studio.
Thank you very much. And I'm sorry you can't see me, but in many ways that's probably an advantage. It's always best to just listen instead of watch me.
It's just listen instead of watch you. Yeah, that's good. Alec, we're going into a marathon of a grand final today. We had a semi-final or qualification round Thursday, where we had 36 players playing, all of them trying to qualify, and now they are ready for it. And it's going to be great. Actually, it's going to be big. If we're going to see the format, I know you can see it here, so let's just take it here. And we lost Mr. Alec Wilkinson again. It is the hardcore Brexit, but don't worry, we have this fantastic format today. We are going to have 9 races to go all the way into to the match race final. We're going to see 9 different boats: a Barcolana boat in race number 1, an F18 in race 2, AC75 race 3, F50 race 4, and then we can continue going that way. It's all boats we're going to see in the game, so we can't call who is winning because I haven't seen the Japanese sail that much, but this really shows you that you need to have highly skilled players to be able to be there. So that's how it's going to be. It's really, really impressive. And then we have a match race final. Top 2 goes into the final, and if number 1 wins the match race, the first match race, then he is crowned champion of the VRI Sailing Club. And if he doesn't win the first match race, then they go into round 2, where we are going in to see another starboard match race. We can see here Hamanji, he couldn't come today. He was sadly something came in the way for him, but Tacitus, KGR, this beautiful Japanese name, Go Tigers, White Squirrel, 0517 Ginbis, Sohai Nippon, Japan 2, Vegas, Japan 30, 520, 31, 37, 9, Japan 36, 63, all of them, Mackay, all of them we have seen before, all of them are doing a great job. But let's see how it will unfold for them. Let's see how it will go today. And we are getting ready for the first race. We are waiting for the race officers to create it. I know there are some communication in there, so we will just try to communicate to them while we are here, and while we're also getting Mr. Alec Wilkinson back with us in studio. Then if you're more interested in watching e-sailing and e-sailing TV, then this is how you can do it. Good morning, good afternoon to all of you e-sailing fans around the world. Welcome to eSailing TV. We are in Marseille. We are at the Sail GP Grand Finals. Behind me is the stage where the winner of Sail GP will receive their trophy. one. Penalty to Lilo, 14. Most of the boats are in the committee boat, sailing into each other. Massive penalties in this start.
Good start. This is superb. And look at the speed of the Spaniards.
From the start, and remember they're trying to hit that zero.
And then we are ready, Alec. And Alec, we have you with us in studio now. We have connection to Great Britain. Welcome online.
Yes, thank you very much. We've actually, I know you like to tease me about the quality of our internet in the UK, but we've actually had quite a few storms overnight, so I don't know if that is having an effect. And on the subject of storms, the Japanese know all about storms. I was in Japan covering a sailing event when they had a typhoon. It was exciting. To say the least.
Yeah, and when we are saying storms, Alec, you just said the typhoon there, but we're also going into what we call in virtual worlds. We're actually going a little bit to Olympic waters. We're going to Japan, where the Olympics are going to be hosted this year. So what can you say about that? Because as I remember, you were actually meant to go there and commentate it.
Yes, and well, hopefully I will be in the summer when Tokyo 2020 happens, 1 year late. But, well, the waters of Enoshima, it's a fascinating place. It's an island just off, just about, I don't know, about 45 minutes from Tokyo. It's a bit of a holiday resort for some of the city lovers. And the waters there, they're quite deep. And you get all sorts of interesting currents. And I know that the Olympic sailors had spent a lot of time training on those waters to try and learn the different quirks and aspects of it. But hopefully the world will be watching Enoshima once again in July.
Yeah. And Alec, I can say to you, just to say when we are following up here, you're not the only one with internet issues. Right now, the Japanese are waiting to get allowed to create an event so we can get started. And they're also waiting for the last player to join in. So we have some time to talk about everything. But Alec, let's talk a little bit about Enoshima, because the first time I really had an interview with you here on eSailing TV. The first time you really joined in. You joined in on a connection direct live from Enoshima while I was another place in Denmark. Yes. And there you were testing sailing.
Yes, we were. So the port, the marina, the yacht club in Enoshima, which was originally built for the Olympics in now you're testing my history. I think it was 1968. I think was that edition of the Olympics. That whole clubhouse and so on was actually blown away in a typhoon a few years later. So they rebuilt it with modern structures and so on. But they've since expanded it even further. So basically, they've built a new TV center there for the Olympic Games, and we were testing out those studios, which were very nice, all made of glass, overlooking the water, and was very comfortable. But yes, you connected to me for an e-sailing event, and I did it from the roof on my mobile phone, from the roof as the sun set behind me. And it was a bit of an experiment technically for you and me, but it worked well, and it was a beautiful setting.
Yeah, and while we're saying that this is the amazing part about being online, being on a virtual waters, being in a sailing game like this, and also a new way of commentating. We are connected all around the world, and because we know something about technology, we can actually connect direct to each other by mobile phones. And the last big thing we did together when we were saying Olympics was when we went to the Olympic Channel. There we also made a small technical genius while we're waiting. The Japanese are coming in now. We actually have a live interview direct from Barbados, the beach of Barbados, where the managing director, he was standing with his mobile phone on the beach to a beach party.
Yeah, it's incredible what you can do, and these days you can do so much with just a mobile phone. We can't quite do what you do in your studios there and in your technical gallery there, where you connect Japan and Britain and Denmark and so on into a live broadcast. You need a lot more equipment, but as a guest into the show, yeah, it's incredible what you can do on a mobile phone now.
Yeah, it's amazing. And while we're saying that, let's go in and see the players joining in the game while we're talking. And Alec, as told earlier today, I've explained about the format. We're going to see 9 races in 9 different boats. And this is actually a boat we know quite well. We actually introduced this event to Virtual Regatta. It's the Barcolana. Fantastic regatta in Italy.
Yes, it is. It is the biggest regatta in the world, in fact. I think it's around 4,000 boats, I think was the record, something like that anyway, a couple of years ago. And we were there for that, and it was a fantastic event, and it happens in the northeast corner of Italy, in the city of Trieste. And it's a fabulous city, and the event is a fabulous event that's been going on now for quite a few decades, organised by the local sailing club, and has now turned into a real international event that people follow all around the world.
Yeah, and it's quite interesting. Now we're speaking about inshore, but this year they also did offshore event. And this offshore event got very famous. Just to say, we got, let's say that it is, 26,000 people sailing on virtual waters from Genova to Trieste. So it was so famous and so big that they're actually thinking to do a real offshore event also.
Yes, so we did a virtual offshore event that lasted, we thought it was going to take a week, but it took about 4 days, didn't it?
Yeah.
And with classic offshore sort of, it's the way offshore races all seem to happen for me. I think it finished at about 2:30 in the morning. We were there live for that, for the conclusion, and it was really exciting. So Barcolana is an event that's and a regatta that has really embraced e-sailing, and it's great to see.
Yeah, and just to say to all of you guys out there, if you're going to commentate an offshore event and you choose to use Alec as your co-host, or you're invited in by Alec, then be warned, it's going to be ended early in the morning, and he has this record of it. So I'm getting used to get up early now. So, but that's it. Let's go in game, Alec, before we tell too much anecdotes about what we're doing and what we're not doing.
Here we go then. It's the Barcolana boat. It's a very different boat from those that we saw in the first rounds, the qualifying rounds of this Japanese championship. And they're sort of, we're now waiting for we've got 20 boats. We've got 20 boats, and we're waiting for them all to join up. You can see them listed on the left-hand side. And at the moment, we're waiting for the start to kick in. So once we do, we'll have about a minute. Here we go. So the start procedure is underway. 1 minute 15, and it's just 17 skippers, as Thomas was explaining earlier on. We've had a few internet connection problems around Japan. So we're down to 17 skippers. Some of the best in Japan here, Thomas.
Yeah, it is some of the best in Japan. And just to all of you new viewers out there that haven't followed the Japanese e-sailing development, yeah, they had two, 3 players that's been playing in a high level during time. KTR and Tacitus and Sean Bourne, but Sean Bourne is not part of this tonight. He got beaten by the new ones. And then we saw them for the first time at the Nations Cup. And wow, what an entry on the international stage they did there. But Alec, here is the start. It is the Barcolana, 20 seconds to go. Who will take the first race? We know it's a slow boat. It's a little bit alike the J boat, so it's downwind. We'll see the action.
Yep, so they're bunching up near this committee boat end. They obviously all want to get off on this right-hand side. And there's a few jostling, trying desperately not to go over early. And we'll see Vegas picking up a penalty, Mackay going back and starting again. So a few were over a little bit early, but not as many as you'd think, looking at how busy that start line was. But right now, looking at the top left corner, the radar there, it looks like a fairly even breeze across the course.
Yeah, it's a fairly even breeze. We can see best VMG button is on the boats. It's 5.9, 6.0 upwind at the moment. But we also saw a small change in the game yesterday. There's been some updates that if you are in lighter wind, then you actually sail slower right now upwind in your best VNG button. So interesting what will happen there with it. Here we have Go Tigers. He's one of the new guys, but I have to say in the start we were watching this guy who just handled out a penalty to the leading boat, KGR. The Toshiki Kukua. Oh, I need to learn to speak Japanese much better. Sorry for the wrong way of saying your beautiful name there. But KGR here, he is maybe the favorite of tonight's race.
One of the most experienced sailors in Japan, and had a really successful qualification stage coming into these final races. But we've got quite a lot of racing ahead. This is race one. We've got plenty of them ahead of us. And right now, the nominal leader in these very early stages is Jinbis, KGR, and Japan 3717. All sailors we saw do really well in the qualifications.
Yeah. And now it's going to be interesting because they're coming to the mark rounding. And there are two rules in this mark rounding zone to the new viewers. If you're on the inside like KGR is here, then you can penalize Jinbis if they're entering the mark rounding zone from the port side. They are due. If they're coming from starboard, then they have the right of way if they're not maneuvering inside the zone like James was doing here. So, one boat going upwind. It's Sohai Nippon himself. It's the owner of Bulkhead Magazine who's sponsoring some prizes here, going upwind, losing momentum and losing his position also. So what a start for him here in the Barcolana boat.
Yeah, what a start. And just like these guys, I mean, you and I haven't actually got that much experience of this Barcolana boat, in as much as, yes, we've commentated on the whole of the Barcolana regatta with it, but we haven't seen it on different waters. We haven't seen it in different situations and with different sailors as they come to this downward mark. And Japan and KGR there, really, but Japan 3717, there we go. And James really battling it out.
Yeah.
And I think it was James forcing 3717 out.
Yeah, it was. And then we see Taxitu is also one of the very routine sailors getting a penalty here against the two new guys, Japan James and Japan 3717. Oh, I love all these numbers, Alec. It's like luck. If you can't say them fast, then you will get a little bit more lucky. So there we go. But it's actually their real sailing numbers, we understand, on them.
Yeah, it's the numbers they have on the sails of whatever boats that they race in the real world. But right now, KGR showing us why he's one of the best in Japan, already at that top mark. And very soon he's going to be heading home to the finish. Japan 49 coming in and 37 right behind him. But Camp 37, hold on to that third place because we've got a load of boats coming in from this left-hand side. Tacitus, he turns, he maneuvers just on the inside there. Jinbis picking up a penalty. When you think Jinbis was leading earlier on, we've seen him really drop down the fleet. Disappointing performance on the in leg number 2 for Jinbis.
Yeah, but one thing is for sure, they're going downwind in the fourth leg. It's the last time they're going downwind action. We can see KGR, he will take the victory, but see that battle. James, Japan 37-17 and Tacitus will battle for third, fourth, and interesting what Tacitus would do. He's also under pressure. They are very close to each other. There's a huge wind shadow. It's 31 meters big in the J boat. So now when we go up, we can see the battle here, how they're slowing each other down with dirty air.
Yeah, and you can see Tacitus. He's also an experienced sailor, and he's playing this just right. So the yellow spinnaker of KGR crosses the finish line to win the first race of this final. Now, closest to us, who's this white boat? It's Japan 49, and he's going to take second place. Over on that far side, we've got the blue sail of Sokken, and there he's going to come in. Oh,
yeah.
Just beaten by the black sail of Japan.
And what a downwind race by him. He came from 7th position, Alec, and took third in a downwind race. And as we said in the start, Barcolana boat looks like the J boat. It's downwind, you're winning it. And when we see this stat in here, let's just have the confirmation first. He got third. Sokken KGR was winning, but this is interesting here. Then we can see he came from position 6 actually, and then downwind he came up to third. So Japan 37-17 and Tacitus was battling each other on the left hand side, and while they were battling, then they were losing their position and gave it to Sokken. And Sokken, he was actually the big surprise in the qualification because he qualified, as I remember, as one of the first boats in the top boats.
Yeah, a terrific performance there for Sokken Thomas. That's his real name, by the way.
Yeah.
And we will see if he can reproduce that and stay consistent. I'm not going to start talking about consistency yet because it's only race one of many. But I will, in 2 or 3 races' time, start talking about the importance of that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. As a commentator, we always make a little bit fun. There are some words each of us are using a lot. Example, I'm known for saying, ooh, oh, and all that when something happens in the game, where Alec, his favorite word is consistency. But it is not for fun you're saying that word, because we see it all the time. You can be a good e-sailor, but if you're not consistent and you don't concentrate, then you will lose momentum. But Alec, with that said, let's just go to the scoreboard also to see what the next race is that's coming up. And the Japanese are fast, we can see it here.
Yeah, so there we go. Right on form with confirmation also the victory of the first race. But we're moving into, I think that's an F18 for the second race. It's an interesting regatta, this, Thomas, because there are lots of boats that if you're a regular viewer of e-sailing TV, you won't necessarily have seen before, because they're not, how can we put it? They're not the regular popular choice of boat for regattas, are they?
No, they are not. F18, I think it's the first time for a half a year, Alec, we see that boat in action. So I can't call it, and it looks a little bit like NACFRA. So it's upwind, you're going to win it, but it's a little bit slow. It's a little bit slower and it's a little bit lighter than NACFRA. So if it reacts the same way as a NACFRA, then we might see players go into strong wind, will lose momentum in the upwind leg, where if they keep them in a medium wind, they will have more speed, because the NACFRA boat is actually one of those boats where you will slow down or you will lose momentum if you get into strong a wind. But while saying that, let's get ready for the next race.
There it is, race number 2 being set up. We're in Marseille, breeze of 14 knots, which is fine for this this boat, this catamaran, but it's quite light, isn't it, by e-sailing standards, 14 knots.
It is, and did you see how this boat, we were watching this white boat, how he actually maybe he could do a 360 with no movement. It's spinning around, so it's also pretty hard to steer if you press too hard with your fingers on the tastature or your mobile phone or your tablet. Then you actually lose control of steering this boat, and especially when it's coming so fast. So I'm quite interested to see what will happen at the gate mark. The gate mark in the first downwind leg is going to be very important, because that turn can be catastrophic from each of the players.
All right, okay, that's good knowledge. I look forward to seeing what happens there, Thomas. 50 seconds to go. And now it's 45 seconds to go as they are spread out across this start line. It's obviously a fast boat, so they don't want to be too close to the start line too early. And again, looking at the radar, it looks like strength-wise, it's a fairly even breeze, but it's coming mostly from that left-hand side of the course at the moment.
Let's see what the boats are doing. They're spreading out, Alec. We have one boat coming from pin end here. We can see he's coming in, and see how it turns. Wow. We talked about starfighters in the Nations Cup. This is almost a TIE fighter. It's going to be much, much faster. It is not the Imperial Strikes Back, but it is a boat that is with speed.
It was the Empire, I think.
Yeah.
Right, the race is underway, and fairly good start from everyone, as in a clean start. One penalty there for 31. But other than that, most of them getting a good start under their belts early on. And they're all, as you'd expect, heading off sort of spread right across the course, really, from the left all the way to the right-hand side of the course.
Yeah, and it's quite interesting. They're sailing into stronger wind, and see, now they're going back to lighter wind. So maybe they have been listening to what we said, that this boat don't like the stronger wind. It needs to be in medium wind. But let's try to follow Mackay here. He's taking a chance. He's going to the right-hand side, and then he will cross in, see how much he will lose. He was in stronger wind, and he's actually losing more and more positions. Where the boats in the middle, Alec, they are actually in a good position. And again, not a surprise, KGR is in there.
Well, a nice steady breeze there in the middle. 31 just tacking on the ley line. And in comes the yellow boat that is our favourite Japanese name. And second, right behind him, guess who? KGR once again.
Yeah, and now we see another player that we have some expectation to today. Vegas, the Nations Cup captain. He's coming in 5th here. He might penalize Japan 520. He had enough speed to survive that. But we can see a lot of penalties. Taxi2's taking another one. Wow, that experienced player having a hard time against all these new players. This just shows what's coming up internationally from Japan. And I'm looking forward to Nations Cup this season.
Yeah, the Nations Cup was a revelation as far as the Japanese were concerned. I'm sure they had every confidence of doing well, but they took on some of the toughest teams in the world, including the French, and they gave them a bloody nose. And that was something that surprised the e-sailing community, and it really signaled Japan's arrival on the e-sailing scene. But right now, at this bottom mark, it's KG who has possibly taken the lead from the leader. We will see how this pans out on this upwind leg. And it's busy down here now, isn't it?
Yeah, and see the turns they're doing. It's like this boat is turning 360 just around the mark. Oh, one misses the mark, Natsu. Now, and another one missing the mark, James. As I told, this is where some of the action will be in this boat, because when you're pressing with your fingers and turning this light boat, it will turn around hard and fast. But interesting upwind, we can see here the leading pack at the left-hand side, but Vegas and Ginbis putting themselves in the middle. Will they win momentum on that?
Wow, exciting stuff. And as you say, it can go wrong very quickly on these fast boats. And we've got plenty of fast boats to enjoy this evening on this Japanese championship. with well, we've got the AC-75 next, haven't we? The America's Cup boats.
Yeah.
Even the real America's Cup teams are still trying to learn how to use those boats. So KGR relinquishes the lead again and moves back into second place. A great performance from the yellow boat in the lead. Japan 30 in third.
Oh, another penalty to Taxi2 at his top mark rounding.
Yeah,
He dropped to 14 in last, and then he battling his way up to position 7, getting a penalty there. And then I'm Socken also in 10th. Wow, that was players that really performed in the qualifications. They are now back, I have to say, way back in the standings. But there's a long way to go. It's 9 races, it's 9 different boats. And let's see here. The Japanese boat up there, the yellow, is winning 20 knots, 22 knots to KGR. He knows how to find the wind, Alec. Oosh.
He knows how to find the wind, but he's run out of time, and he's going to have to take second place. But I thought we had a bit of a battle on for third, and maybe we do, with Vegas and 31 battling it out. But it goes to Vegas. Oh, over on that purple. Who was that black boat then? It was
the black boat was Japan. Japan coming in.
30.
Vegas, he got 4th. Taxi2's dropped to 9. And let's see, 36 is coming on 0517. Natsu. Oh, James winning back. He was last at the gate mark, coming 3rd last, but Natsu couldn't come back after that terrible mark rounding. But as said, it's a hard boat to round when we're rounding the gate marks. And Alec, here we have the score.
Yes, we do. So another great result for KGR, finishing in second, Japan 30 in third. Vegas, the Nations Cup Japanese captain, making it to 4th place. And then we look down, Jinbis 7th, and Socken now finishing in 8th, Tacitus in 9th. So Socken again trying to keep up those results, keeping them consistent.
Yeah, and we can see here when we talked about speed, Alec, in the race, KGR had the best average speed overall, but he didn't hit maximum speed. That was Jinbis, a little bit faster than himself. And then we can see most number of jibes came to Mackay. And why are we so interested in most numbers of jibes? It's because every time you jibe or you tack, you lose momentum and speed of your boat. We can see Japan 37, he had the best start, but then he got a penalty and went to the wrong side, dropped to last position, and then he was battling his way back up. Let's see here, up to position 14. But interesting to see Vegas winning the downwind action against 31-37. And then we can see Japan sneaks in and took 3rd in front of them, going to the opposite side. Wow, Alec. They actually know something about sailing, but it's quite fun to see the F-18 in action again. I know the community is not using the boat that much because it looks a little bit like the Nacra, but we could see it was a little bit slower upwind and almost same speed downwind, but really hard to steer. So interesting.
Yes. Yeah. Well, the faster the boat, the more difficult they are to steer, and also the less thinking time you've got to plan your move. So I don't know how often they actually race. I don't know how the Japanese VRI club, how often they race the that F-18. But yeah, it's very much about practice.
Yeah. And with practice, let's go in and see the scoreboard. There we have it. KGR with 2 podium positions, 3 points, Alec. Whoosh. It looks great for him.
Yeah. It's going to be different if he continues like this for a couple more races. It's going to be difficult to see how the others can keep up with him. But Socken, an 8th place there, that might form the difference. Tell us about discards, Thomas.
Yeah. As I remember, there's a discard. There will be no. Is there a discard today? I'm not sure. The Japanese always take straight no discards at all. So it's all about performing, but it's top 2 going into match races. So KTR, he can win everything, but still lose the Japanese VRI Club Championship, because if he's not good in a match race in a star boat, then number 2 will beat him. So it's all about getting first and second in this race.
Yeah.
And Alec, saying that, then we have huge different cultures in between different countries, and also different e-sailing communities. The Japanese, they're not using this discard in a championship. They believe, as I remember, I spoke with Vegas earlier, they believe that you really need to show your skills, and you're not allowed to fail to have your score. And that's
well, it makes consistency even more important, because you can't afford any bad result then.
Yeah, and Alec, I have a cross list here. That was the 5th time you said consistency today, so it actually fits in that word. No, let's stop making fun with that. Here we have one of the new boat, America's Cup boat, Alec, and they're racing it right now. See there, it's laying in the water with the foils, automatic foils going up and down. So interesting how that would go with only 14 boats from start here. Some boats didn't come into the race. Whoosh.
Okay, well that's we're down to 12 and 11 now.
I think we might have a disconnection. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it's a restart. It's a restart. So then let's, instead of go out and make some information about how you can join in a community. The Japanese community is growing. When they were at the Nations Cup, Alec, remember there were 13 players. Right now in the community, they are more than, they just hit almost 100 players within a month, Alec. Within a month. So
it's, I mean, it's been an incredible rise, that of e-sailing, over the year of 2020, really, from March onwards, when sailing, like so many other sports, were locked down. So many people moved onto their devices and took up e-sailing, and there was a huge percentage increase of e-sailers, and indeed of our e-sailing broadcasts as well. And that was the same in Japan.
And if you are in the game and you want to join and know more about it, then one of the guys to contact is KTR or Vegas. You can go down here in Friends, press it, and then you can write Vegas. And when you're writing with Vegas and search, there he is. Then you go in and then you can add him as a friend. And when he accepts your friend request, then you can write him personally, especially if you're Japanese. And then you can join in the Japanese community. And with that said, it looks like we are ready for some real action in the AC75. They're joining in right now, Alec. So it's great. But I have to say, I'm impressed how big the community is growing so fast. 1 month, Alec. We said under the Nations Cup, interesting to follow Japan, because that's a gaming nation and they're really famous of their gaming culture. I have been playing, I have to say, in Sailing World, StarCraft since I was very young. They're still driving around in buses, these champions of StarCraft in Japan, because it's so huge gaming in their country.
Yes, and that's why it's great to see e-sailing taking up its place within such a huge gaming nation. They love their technology in Japan, and it's going to help drive the game upwards. And it's great to see the Japanese be successful in it. But yes, you're right. The top guys and girls in gaming in Japan have made their fortunes. And are real national celebrities, aren't they? Yeah. But right now, let's focus on this race. So I'm presuming that we're on the waters of Auckland.
Yeah, we are, but we will not be there for a long time, Alec. See, all the players are going out again. I think the issue is that there cannot be 20 skippers in an AC75 race. It might have been set to 14 skippers, and that might be the issue. So we'll just wait for some confirmation from them. But I'm pretty sure of that, Alec.
Okay.
But let's give them a little bit chance.
Maybe we need to communicate that to the organisers.
Yeah, maybe. It might be that why, but let's see what they're writing in there. I'm not good in Japanese. I am actually connected on a Discord group to the Japanese team. But with that said, Alec, let's just take a small break and get ready for the next race. Good morning, good afternoon to all of you e-sailing fans around the world. Welcome to e-sailing TV. We are in Marseille. We are at the Sail GP Grand Finals. Behind me is the stage where the winner of Sail GP will receive their trophy. So that's a hot one. Penalty to Lilo 14. Most of the boats are in the committee boat, sailing into each other. Massive penalties in this start.
Good start. This is superb. And look at the speed of the Spanish.
From the start, and remember they're trying to hit that zero. That.
And Alec, in that small break, the organizers made a beautiful call. They changed the boat. We know it's a beautiful boat, the AC-75, but it's meant for match racing, not fleet racing. So you can't put 20 boats in it, only 14. So they changed the boat to a star boat.
Tell you what, it would have been funny having 20 boats, 20 AC-75s.
Flying around, yeah. But that's also some of the things Virtual Regatta is growing, and I know they're working on how to communicate more with the community and how to grow that up. So let's see how that will go in. But let's join in the race. We are getting ready for race number 3 of tonight. And there we have them, Alec. The star boat, big sails, no spinnaker. Slow upwind around 5.4. Sometimes we see a little bit faster, and downwind because they only have one sail and the angle of the sail does that. The wind shadow is like it's coming in front of the boat and not sidewards of the boat.
Yeah, so as we see in a few of these e-boats, the downwind leg, well, the slower e-boats anyway, the downwind leg is going to be crucial. But right now, let's just focus on this start because they're all jostling for position. Right across the line, there doesn't seem to be any preference as to left or right. Slight bias on the left-hand side of the course, a few early starts.
Yeah, Nippon and Mackay, again, a false start. But there was not much room over here. But still, it succeeded Japan to sneak in at the pin end and have a good start.
Yeah, Japan too. And Sokken up there. And Sokken looking for, the consistency of another good finish after an 8th place finish previously. Where's our overall leader? KGR down in the middle of the fleet. Yeah. But let's not worry too much about positions right now. It's very early in this race. So let's have a look at... so the boat closest to us, this green, the sort of lime green, is KGR. And I would have said he's been forced a little bit too far out to the left-hand side. But... he knows what he's doing, so it'll be interesting to follow him as he comes into that top mark.
Yeah, when he approaches the top mark, he will change the angle of the boat. He will get more wind into the sail and get more speed. He will sail, what we say, a little bit sail longer distance, but he will get faster boat. So he might have a chance to penalize the other boats here beside him because he will be on the inside of the mark rounding zone. So the only thing that can actually threaten him is a boat like Japan 36, 63, if he come from a starboard and does maneuvering inside the mark rounding zone, or else it actually looks good for KBR. But it is Japan 2, it is 0517, and it is Tacitus. They are going to take top 3 in the mark rounding.
Well, let's have a look and see if that prediction is correct. I think this pink boat is in a really good position right now. Japan 2 rounds the mark in the lead. Here comes Japan 3-6. A few penalties, one penalty handed out already. And there's KGR trying to get in on the left-hand side. There just wasn't room for him.
No.
And it's a penalty.
But he takes that penalty. See, he came from 12th to 4th position, Alec, by taking the penalty. So he wins 6th position on its 6th position. So what a calculation he did there.
So what you're saying is sometimes it's good to take a penalty. It
Yeah.
can help.
It can help you if you take a penalty. And see here you see the thing with starboard. It's easier to see from the top. See the wind shadow of the sails are going straight down in front of the boat. So being in the middle like KGR, he gets all the wind, dirty wind from all the other boats. And you can also see the leaders, they are spreading out down here to be prevented caught in a wind shadow, and they cannot attack each other the same way. So the only way they can do it is like doing it like a match race, and it's too early to do that.
It was a good tactic from 0517, forcing Japan 2 out, but just in the end having to allow Japan 3-6 to Japan 2 to squeeze in on the inside. So at the moment, we've got one going. No, I think they're all choosing to go up the middle of the course for the moment.
Yeah, it doesn't matter which port side they're taking. There's a little bit of advantage here on the left-hand side where KTR came over. Some penalties here. They're coming in second. This is not his race. He's having a hard time today. But that's how we go. Go Tigers also. But see, it's what we call the medium upwind. So they're almost at the top mark. And it's interesting if the top boat has got so much a gap that they cannot be attacked from behind. There will be a match race, look-alike race between Japan 2 and 0517. But will Japan 36-63 join in that battle?
We shall see as Japan 2 rounds this mark and then heads off to the spreader mark, and squeezing in behind is 0517 ahead of Japan 3-6. Lots of numbers in the top three. Tacitus is aiming for 4th place.
Yeah,
we should convince him to. Here he is.
He will get a penalty there. And there we saw this beautiful Japanese name, the black boat coming from starport, and then hitting him, and see how much he's slowing down. And I think you say we will advise him to change his name, or?
No, that's okay. I was going to complain because he normally has a red sail, and I thought for a moment that he'd switched colours, but he's sticking to red, so we know who he is. And I wish the others would too. KGR, who's been, I think, a different colour every race so far, is there in the lime green and trying to make his way up from 6th. Vegas, for the first time, we see him in the top 5.
Yeah, he's coming back. He's having a hard time, the team captain of the Nations Cup team. But it's also KGR behind him. But see here, side by side, while they are battling over here, 0517 and Japan 2. See Japan 36, what he's doing. He has more speed. He's a better wind pressure. So he's sailing faster than them. And he doesn't have any wind shadow behind him. So I think we will have a guy sneaking into the leading position and take the victory in this race.
Yeah, sometimes, two boats can get so caught up in the battle between each. Japan 2 picking up a penalty there, trying to avoid 0517. 0517, a pretty aggressive sailor, I'd say. On the downwind, he was forcing Japan 2 out and out and out and beyond the ley line. It didn't work, but it's working now. Meanwhile, as these two fight, Japan 3663 is about to take victory on that far side of the course. Another penalty for Japan 2. And if they're not careful, these two boats are going to miss out on 3rd, because that black sail in the middle is coming forward and is going to could sneak it or not. It's the blue sail instead of 0517 takes 2nd, and Japan 2nd. Japan 2 takes 3rd.
Yeah.
And then it's that black sail. Here comes Vegas for 7th place, I think. 6th place. Yeah. Tacitus just ahead of him on the far side.
It's amazing to see that battle. And see, 0517 almost lost his position because of those battles, but they lost the victory. Over here we see also Socken and Gimbis battling in it, and they're coming in here side by side. Natsu coming in. So when we go into see it here, Japan 2, he almost lost his third position also, 0.5 seconds to the black boat number 4. And then we can see Vegas and Saxisus battling it out for 5th and 6th, and KGR dropping to 7, got a penalty just on the finish line in front of them. So interesting battles coming up, but this also shows that it's not the KGR's boat, the star boat, so it's okay, he's winning, but he's going into a match race final in the star boat. So there we go. A great upwind for Japan 2, and a really bad finish for him with that battle with 0.517, giving him 3rd overall. And Alec, that will change the scoreboard a little bit. It scores almost ready in a few sec. We can see KGR 2 podium positions, and then he came into a star boat, and boom, he got the 7th position.
Yeah. So, wow. Luckily for him, he's got a 1st and a 2nd. And what a lead that gives him. Really a missed opportunity for Japan 37, finishing 8th. That was a real missed chance to catch the leader. Vegas now moving up to 3rd. Tacitus always in the top 10, but he needs to be in the top 5 really if he has any hope of catching the leader.
Yeah, but interesting, Alec, here now when we're speaking about consistency in a race that is so long as this one, a regatta like this, is to be in the middle of the fleet most of the time or to win everything. So dropping to a 7th position or an 8th position is very costly instead of just having 4th and 5th position. Then when you see the winner of this regatta, he came from 2 very bad positions and then to a victory and 2nd place also. So interesting if this race started them up, and we now see some beautiful action from their side.
So Thomas, it's beginning to heat up now. Plenty of racing still to go. We're not even at the halfway stage yet, but it's a really varied set of results. So apart from KG, the rest, it's still wide open, isn't it?
It's wide open, but KGR, I think he really still needs to focus on his race, because if he relaxes now, then the other boats will come in and take over. And now we're coming into a boat where it's going to be a little bit faster. It's going also to be how good you are to doing a start. We're going into the F50, Alec. And before you start talking about the boat, let's just have an overview of the boats.
Well, let's have a good look at them. The EF50, as you can see in the top right corner, Sail GP. This is the boat that was designed and created for the Sail GP circuit. And we also had an e-sailing or an e-Sail GP event, didn't we, over the summer that really was terrific action and gave us some real high quality sailing. It's a difficult boat. It's a fast boat. It's difficult to control. The slightest mistake, and you just see yourself drop down the fleet. But let's go in and watch the start.
Ten seconds. Yeah, it's going to be a fast start, I think.
A fast start. So they're powered up now. It's a reaching start, and they are away. And it's once again out in front, the dominant KGR, the confident KGR, our overall leader. 0517, also in good form in the last race, takes 2nd and 3rd. Jinbis in there. Japan 3663 now. Penalties will be handed out left, right, and centre. So many boats all coming in at the same time. And the red exclamation mark of penalties means that for those boats who picked up the penalties, it's going to be a tough tough fight to get back into the race.
And it's going to be a tough fight because this is a race where we have an F50. It's all about speed. It's all about the mark roundings. And a penalty can be very costly. And see here, because there are so many boats, penalty galore. But KGR, Socken, Gimbis, Vegas, and Japan 3663 managed to sneak away and be in the top 6 at the moment.
Yeah, and the boundaries, if you're new to this, the boundaries is all about forcing these boats to maneuver so that they don't obviously hit the boundary and pick up penalties. It's about creating even more exciting action on the course. But right now, KGR, who seems to have gained himself a blue tick, is out in front. But that lead of 20 meters is nothing in the EF50.
No, it's really nothing. But still, it's only 14 meters to Socken. And Socken, let's just see the battle up here. He might go in front of him or penalize him. See, KGR needs to go behind him. Bears away, go behind Socken, and now they're switching position because Socken will come from a port side and then KGR will come from starboard. That means when they're doing the mark rounding up there, then there's a chance to penalize. But every time you do attack in this boat, you just see it on KGR now, you lose 11 knots of speed and it takes 11 seconds to go back up in maximum speed. And that's good news for Socken that sneaks away in the lead.
Yeah, but only just in the lead. And Jinbis and Japan 3717 and James are all chasing, but really a big gap between the top 3 and the rest of the fleet. But we've seen it before, and we've seen it quite often on the last leg, that some errors under pressure means that there's a complete change in the order of the podium.
Yeah, and this top mark split the fleet into 2 groups. A leading group of 7 boats where 3 of them are battling side by side, and see, they're trying to cover each other up. Normally, as we say, don't do too many jibes in this boat, but they're really covering each other up like a match race. Vegas sneaks in, takes 3rd in front of Ginbis. KGR in 2nd. He might lose position by splitting away from the others, and is still Socken in the lead.
Socken, who in qualifying really showed how good he was. It was a name that we weren't that aware of, but he certainly made his mark on the scene. Penalty for Go-Go Tigers. I love that name, Go-Go Tigers. Sohei Nippon back at the back with another penalty. Mackay, who had an okay qualification round on Thursday, is currently sitting in 15th. But here at the front, here's the battle. Vegas, who's now moved into the lead ahead of Socken, and then there's Jimbis in 3rd.
Yeah, and see KGR taking a direct battle in front of James, who is overall 2nd, KGR overall 1st. Just go in front of him and forcing James to do a double tack. So a double slowdown, and see, that costed him 2 position overall in this race. Vegas under trouble. Oish managed to avoid a penalty from Socken going in front of him. They're going to race side by side. Downwind, Alec. Who will take it? Will it be Vegas? Will it be Socken? It's all up to you, Alec, to guide us through that.
Well, Vegas out in front, and then it's Socken, and I can't see a way back for Socken. I can't see them closing the 80-meter gap on Vegas, and I think we're going to see Vegas's first victory, certainly on our live shows, is this VRI Club Championship. Vegas round that final mark and now heading towards the finish line. Socken right behind him in 2nd. And who's in 3rd? It's Jinbis coming up. So I think we have the podium right there. 1st, 2nd and 3rd heading towards the finish line. And what about the battle for 4th? It's KGR now. Oof. And he's got some, there's penalties. 0517 there, picking one up. And Japan 37. So it's tough and dirty in the middle of the fleet. But that's 4th place taken. 5th goes to Japan 3717. And the rest of the fleet now come in with still penalties being handed out near the back of the fleet as they come towards this final reach mark.
And it's the overall number 2. He got so much slowdown by KGR that he came down in the battle group behind, and here got a penalty. coming in 15. So going from a position 5th to position 15 in an upwind and a downwind leg. That's a hard game to race today. Vegas with a victory, Socken second, Ginbis third, KGR fourth, Japan's 37-17, James in sixth, and 0-5-7-8. It looks so good in the start for him, and we can, when we go into the here, then we can see this this diagram. It's really moving around, and see Vegas. That's quite amazing. He started over the starting line as 5th, and then he got a penalty and dropped to 8th. Then in the upwind leg, Alec, in an upwind leg, he managed to go from 8th to 3rd, and then he lost momentum battling Ginbis, and then again in an upwind leg, going all the way up to position 1 and keeping that position all the way. And normally in the F50, we see the positions being decided at the gate marks and at the top marks. At the gate marks and at the start. But in this case, Vegas did it in the upwind. Amazing race by Vegas in this case.
It was an amazing race by Vegas. Incredible to come back from so far down. But the F50 is interesting, isn't it? Because sometimes if you have one dominant sailor and they get away well at the start, they tend to be able to hold on to that if they get a good 100, 200 meter lead. But no, lots of overtaking, lots of excitement.
Yeah, and when we're seeing lots of excitement, this again changed the scoreboard.
Wow, so Vegas moves up to second place now, and 7 points clear of KGR, who's out in front. But look at that, a first, a second, and a fourth for KGR. That is why he is the overall leader. And Vegas, what a shame for him that he got an 11th place early on, because other than that, he has been very consistent.
Yeah, but watch Japan 37-17. 4th, 6th, 8th, 5th. That's consistency. He's not having any top positions, but if he just managed to do something in the last races, then he actually will sneak in. We will go into race number 5 in a few seconds, and that's the Offshore Racer. And I don't know how good these guys are in the Offshore Racer, because again, it's a boat we don't see much. And then keep an eye on Socken. His score system almost looks like the same as Vegas's. So top 4 right now are actually top 4 for the first position if everything goes their way.
Socken needs to prove to me that he is consistent, because right now he's all over the place with those results. So let's see how he does in race number 5.
And race number 5 is on the way, straight into it. This is the Offshore Racer. See that 2 big wheels behind, huge sail, and this has a huge wind shadow, this boat, Alec. And it's actually amazing, having amazing speed downwind. Can hit 12, 14 knots downwind. And upwind, I think we are around 7 knots upwind. But it's a downwind boat. It's all about how you race it there.
Okay, we'll talk more about the boat in a moment, but right now with 5 seconds to go, let's focus on the start. They're all holding back. They don't want to hit that line before it goes to 0. There's a penalty there for Natsu, but other than that, a few going back to start again, and the choice is really the left-hand side of the course.
Yeah. And here we have Japan 37-17. We said keep an eye on that boat. He's not placing himself in a good position. Yeah, he can cross in, but he's going to the right-hand side. The wind pressure is a little bit with the favor, but he has so long way to cross into the top mark. And if the wind is not shifting, he is in the worst possible position at the moment. But opposite side, Japan 2, a beautiful yellow boat, Socken in 3, and Vegas beside him. But where's KTR? He's yellow. He's in
KGR
the right hand
is,
side.
in the middle of the fleet. So just because we're having a lot of new viewers in Japan who are learning the art of e-sailing. So just to explain, these white dotted lines either side of the course, you can see it in the radar in the top left corner. And you can see it now on their main screen as well. Those are what we call the ley lines. And they're really the most efficient way to get your boat to the top mark. Yeah. And it doesn't always mean that if you get to it and you sit on it, you're going to be first, because the wind shifts and the ley lines move as well. And your boat, obviously, you'll have to maneuver to stick to those ley lines. But that's your ley line lesson for this broadcast.
And while Alec was saying that, see Japan 37-17. He took a chance, went to the right-hand side. The wind pressure was not with him. And then he crosses in and became first. And see who came in second. KGR. So the two leading boats, or he's not the leader, it's the third boat, and it's a third place and first place are battling each other downwind from the start. But see all of them bunching up, rounding that gate mark at the same time, taking penalties in. And the spinnaker comes up, a huge spinnaker. And let's see the speed, Alec, downwind. Oosh, that's very low wind, 9.5 knots. So you can't sneak away.
Quite right that we've got an offshore boat now in e-sailing as well, because of course the mixed double-handed offshore boat is the new class that will be introduced to Olympic sailing for the games in Paris. The waters will of course be the sailing will of course be in Marseille, but it's the new class of boat that everyone is now getting into, and now sort of trying to work out who can represent their country in that boat, working through the qualifications. Right, Japan 3717 is out in front here on this downwind leg and clear of everyone else's dirty air. But lots of turbulence. You can see it flying off with those white dots flying off the sails. 0517. We've seen how aggressive he can be, and again putting in an aggressive move.
Yeah, and then we have Go Tigers up there. He can actually penalize KGR if he's crossing down to the mark, to the gate mark. No, he's going opposite. That might be a bad position. But Alec, let's see it here. We talked about it yesterday or Thursday. Can you see the ley lines on the left-hand side? That area is smaller than the right-hand side. So that means going to the left-hand side here from this top view, then that's the favorite position to go in. That's the shortest distance. So all of them, like the yellow boat here and Japan 36.63, is going the longest sailing route towards the top mark.
So we've got a split here with some going left, some going right. The breeze looking stronger on the right-hand side. We'll see if that pays off. But right now, closest to us, I think that's KGR with the golden sail. Sohei Nippon.
Yeah, coming in. Oh, he's too polite. I have taken it all the way. I'm an e-sporter. I have gone after KGR. If I could penalize him and come in front of him, that would be great for me. But Sohei Nippon is a fair play sailor, and is also the sponsor of prizes tonight from Bulkhead Sailing Magazine Japan. He is the owner of it, and he's participating in this championship himself. 0517 with a penalty. He is the aggressive, but the Tigers, Go Tigers, just nailed him down there and penalized him. And while we're seeing these four boats battling out, then Japan 37-17 sneaks away.
Yeah, well spotted, because he sneaks away, and he's got such a huge lead now that only a disconnect, I think, will see him lose this race. Right behind him, we've got the pink boat and KGR so close, and there's a split, one going left, KGR going up this left side, and the pink boat going to the right. And then we've got 0517. Interesting to see if he can put in one of his aggressive maneuvers that will help him catch the third place. But definitely a split now between the top three and the rest of the chasing fleet.
Yeah, and see, it's interesting to see the whole fleet is splitting out, because can you see in the middle, all that wind shadow, all that dirty air will slow you down. So they're trying to get away from it and then go out towards the ley lines. And now it's interesting, who made the best call, going left or going right? KGR 10.9, Japan 37.17, 11.1. Opposite side 10.6, 11.2. Yeah, there's a little bit more wind speed over here, but it's so little that I'm not sure he can take the battle to KGR for that second position. And there we see
I
it.
don't think so. But there on that far side is our winner, Japan 37.17, crossing the finish line. KGR is going to take second. And maybe how close is it exactly for third? I think it's actually Go-Go Tigers is going to take third place.
I think it's making trick with us. It's this beautiful pink boat taking third. Go-Go Tigers is going to fight for that fourth position. Let's go in and see here from this side. Oh, photo finish. He takes fourth. So he will come in, but see rest of the fleet bunching up.
Love his sail design.
Yeah.
A lovely purple with a big red heart. I love sailing on it. That was great to see.
But Japan 2 ending up last in this race, and that will change his position in the final scoreboard. Let's just have a confirmation. Japan 37.17 winning. That's the overall third. KGR getting second, overall first. So those two are really bringing in the battle against each other for coming first in the final scoreboard. The pink boat third, Go-Go Tigers fourth. 0517 is waking up now, but is it too late? Getting in fifth, and Sohai Nippon also coming back in the race. This is actually his best position tonight with a 6. Sagan Alec, you said he has to suck it up and also show us his strength. He's dropping till 9th. Whoa.
Yeah, another good race, and great. It'll be great to look at the leaderboard and see again, how Socken and the others are doing overall. But we're beginning to reach that stage in this regatta when, every race is going to count, and we're going to see it make a difference to the leaderboard.
Yeah, we will. And let's go straight into the leaderboard because the next race are getting ready. And the leaderboard is not up yet. It's almost there. Don't worry. This is Sail Ranks. Sail Ranks is also supporting this event. Sail Ranks is the community's ranking list. They have more than 10,000 users, Alec, now registered in this program.
And I was just thinking the other day how on Earth we managed without Sail Ranks. And do you remember? We would be writing down the results, trying to keep across the results for all sort of 18 of these races right now.
Alec, do you remember our first commentary together? The World Championship, Sarasota, Florida. We didn't have any scoreboard there, so we did everything in our head, writing down on a paper, trying to follow it, but we managed to do it. Nobody saw or experienced any mistakes in that calculation. But Sail Ranks is just helping it.
We did only have 10 sailors, whereas this time we've got 17, and that makes it a lot more different. But this, by the standards of some other regattas, isn't actually that big. I mean, we've seen much bigger races with a lot more boats, and that can be quite chaotic sometimes. But thankfully, we have Sail Ranks to do all the hard work for us.
Yeah. And right now we're waiting for the race officers to update. I can see there's a small discussion in there right now about the results, so they might come in a few sec. So Alec, let's ourselves take a small break from here just to get something to drink. So we'll be back in a few sec. Good morning, good afternoon to all of you e-sailing fans around the world. Welcome to e-sailing TV. We are in Marseille. We are at the Sail GP Grand Finals. Behind me is the stage where the winner of Sail GP will receive their trophy. So that's a hot one. Penalty to 14. Most of the boats are in the committee boat, sailing into each other. Massive penalties in this start.
Good start. This is superb. And look at the speed of the Spaniards.
From the start, and remember they're trying to hit that zero.
And Mr. Alec Wilkinson, we are getting closer and closer to getting an overall result here in the Japanese Club Championship. The format is quite simple. It's 9 races and 9 different boats. Now it's only going to be 8 different boats because we have AC75. You couldn't use that for 20 boats. But next boat coming up is the 49er.
The 49er, the Olympic class boat, and one of the fastest boats on the Olympic circuit. And well, the NACRA's now taking that position really, but it's normally a two-man or two-women boat in the case of the 49er FX. But here, of course, we can only get one e-sailor on board any boat. It'd be interesting to try, though, wouldn't it, to do double-handed sailing in e-sailing? But maybe that's the next step.
The next step. I've heard about a game where they're using VR glasses and these goggles to do the sailing, but it's pretty hard for them. Oh,
they've got to be careful not to crash into each other, though, if they do that.
Yeah. So I'm just getting a notification here from the Japanese that they're taking a break because there was a pirate in the last race. Somebody's a pirate sneaking into the last race that shouldn't be there. So the Japanese are just taking care of that right now. And if it's like Pirates of Caribbean, the movie, I will not be the pirate in this case. Then I will be hunted down by the Japanese.
Well, you said the Japanese are dealing with the pirate. I wonder what they're going to do to him. They're going to make him walk the plank.
Yeah, but that's yeah, maybe.
So, but on a serious note, just to there is an explanation for that. It's for people who are new to e-sailing, tell us how we can get a non-registered sailor on the race.
Yeah, let's just jump in, and while we have some time, let's explain a little bit about the game because I know a lot of you viewers out there are new to it. So, 2 seconds. And when we are in here, this is Virtual Regatta in shore. When you're coming in here, then you come into menu. You can see up in the top left corner, we are registered as e-sailing TV stream. But you can also play as a guest. As a guest, you have a possibility to do custom race. You have possibility to participate in these green races in here. And in these green races, then you can see when we slide down, then we might see oh, it's a long time since. Let's just jump a little bit down. Then there might be a boat called a boat. There we have a boat, 39,122. That's a guest boat. It's a non-registered boat. So you can always have fun with the game for free. But if you really want to do something, then register it. Then you can also play beautiful races like the E-Prada Christmas race that's coming up. Then you could try to race against others in the AC75. You also, if you're new to it, you can go into a sailing school. Here, when you can go into the sailing school, you can try the different levels, and when you're done doing that, then you will learn much more about the game and how to race it. But you have to say, it's like taking a driving license. You don't learn how to drive because you have taken a driving license. You first become a good driver when you start driving in a car. But that's how it is.
Can I jump in there? Have we got time?
Yeah, we have lots of time.
Okay. No, just a warning if you are new, when you go into those those sailing schools, that's what I did. And I sort of went into it at about, I don't know, 9:30 in the evening. And a few hours later, my wife was like, well, are you going to come to bed? And I was like, yeah. I'll just be another 5 minutes. And then 5 minutes and on it went. And I think that night I ended up going to bed about 2 in the morning because it's addictive. Once you learn one thing, you want to learn another and then another and then another. It's great fun, but that is your health warning. Don't overdo it.
Don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. So let's just we have some little time because I'm getting from the race officers. Oh, let me see what they're writing. They found out who the pirate was. They now banned him from the community, so he will not be able to participate in Japanese races. And I'm just getting informed that the next race is set here in Custom Race. So let's go in and watch it. And Alec, let's go back to the talk about 49er. We know a really good 49er sailor. There's also really good of Virtual Regatta inshore.
Bart Lambrechts, he is an Olympic 49er sailor for the Netherlands, trying, I believe, to qualify for Tokyo still, qualify the country in that class of boat. And really, we've seen him do really well in the 49er, win lots of international events as well. But at this point, we should point out that there are a lot of professional and Olympic sailors who use e-sailing as a training tool. And yes, there are quirks in the game that make it very different, but equally it is very similar to real sailing from a strategic and tactical point of view, isn't it?
It is, and we can just see that on the world champion this year, Jon Cardona, 22 years old, trying to qualify in the Finn for the Olympics, SailGP grinder for the Spanish SailGP team, and a world champ in e-sailing. Wow.
I mean, he is the man who's really come to the fore in the last year. 2020, definitely the year of Joan Cardona in e-sailing. Still, as you say, still very young by sailing terms, 22 years old, but already a world and national champion. Let's not forget he won the Spanish championship as well. And the Spanish, we're talking about Japan being an upcoming e-sailing nation. Well, sorry, let's try that one again. But Spain, on the other hand, have been at the pinnacle of e-sailing almost from the start.
Yeah,
they've got real strength and depth. Depth and strength, or whatever it is I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and they also have this fantastic thing that they're really taking e-sailing serious. The technical director of the Spanish Federation, Carlos Paz, is also in control of the community and hosting events. And they're even doing a league in Spain where it's following the sailing league. Then they're also doing an e-sailing league. And that's amazing. And with that said, let's join in this amazing Japanese race.
Here we go. Race number 6 then of the Japan Club Championship 2020. 30 seconds to go to the start. And at the moment, all 17 boats on the course, ready, preparing to go, trying to get into position. Let's look at the top radar screen, and everyone bunching up to this right-hand side next to the large committee boat. No one really wanting to go left. There's the odd one or two out there, but everyone wants to get off this right-hand side. 5 seconds to go, and there are a few risking being over early on that far side. And yep, a few penalties there, and someone going back. Japan, 30, going back to start again.
And also Suhai Nippon is going back again. He's taking chances in the starts. I think this is his third time tonight he do a false start, but somehow he managed to come back in the race again. This just shows how strong he is in the races, but he knows that the start is very important for him. The 49er, you win it upwind, you lose it downwind. That means if you're doing your upwind speed and you're reading the wind radar right, then you can win 20 to 30 meters in front of your competitioners. Oh, there we see KTR making a penalty on 0517 when we're speaking about it. And when you're going downwind, you lose it if you choose to go into the wrong wind pressure, and then you will actually lose around 5 to 8 knots of speed.
Yeah, 0517, who I've said is quite an aggressive sailor. He had to take the medicine that time. KGR showing him who was real boss. Here we're focused on Socken in the leading pack, and also on this ley line that you've just seen shift. We were talking about the ley lines moving with the breeze, and here you can see the ley line moving as the breeze shifts. Stronger winds to the extremes of the course, but right now it's fairly even here within the ley lines as we watch Socken approach the top mark.
Yeah, and it's going to be very close. Let's see from top. See KGR. Oh, just managed to go in front of Socken. Next one to attack is the pink boat. Socken under pressure. Penalty. Oh. Then he got his own medicine, trying to get KGR dropping down to position 9 with a penalty at the top mark.
Well, I thought Socken actually lost control of the boat there. Yeah, that was incredible. It sort of lost his head, really. But KGR out in front. Who's chasing him? We've got this lovely pink sail, the Japanese name, and then we've got Japan 49. That's James in 3rd, and Japan 2 in 4th. Japan 2 put in a really good race in the previous race. So
yeah,
we'll see how he does here.
He has developed this way. He has a very good start. He's had some very good the first 2 legs, and then something really bad happens for him and then he drops down. But let's see if he can keep his position up here. KGR and the pink boat, there's overall number 8 coming in, rounding the mark. James following them. Japan 2 going opposite. And let's see how costly that might be. Oh, it doesn't matter which side they're rounding right now, so it's okay. But he is in the middle, where the rest of the fleet are here on the right-hand side. And there's a small tactical advantage to go here to the right-hand side. It means when you tack in, crosses to the opposite side, if it doesn't matter which side you're going to, then you have starboard. And then you can see here Socken, he's under pressure again. Because this boat, he has to go behind him, had the right of way and could penalize him.
You're getting lots of different views of the race course on this coverage, but the sailors can choose from a limited number of views, can't they, Thomas? And each one has a different preference as to how they race and what their view will be.
Yeah, some love to be in 3D mode like this, where they're close to it, but most of the top sailors are only racing in 2D mode like this. Because then they can see the real actual win, how close they really are to the thing, and then they can zoom in and out and keep an eye on all of them. That's the difference of some of the sailors. But here Japan 2 coming in, James in 3rd, KGR in the lead, and the overall 8 in 2nd. That's a good race for the pink boat up there. Let's see if they can keep their positions. The wind shadow is only 23 meters big. Socken coming back. And the light blue boat also here. 23 meters wind shadow, so you cannot attack each other downwind the same way as we see in a J boat. So it's all about wind pressure.
Yeah, the upwind is where your advantage is, and they're out of upwind legs now because they're heading towards the finish line with KGR out in front. But it's not enough of an advantage yet that we can say he's totally safe. Yeah. Japan 49 or James is in 3rd. Yeah. And then it's a long way back to 4th place.
Yeah. And remember what I said about you can only lose this race downwind big time. Socken here has the lowest wind in the start. Now the wind pressure comes in his favor. Let's see. He was dropped to 6th. He was dropped to 5th. Will he get 3rd? Pink boat coming in. He's under pressure now. Go Tigers came in and actually ruined his finish. So he drops to 6th instead of being in 5th by going to the wrong side and have small pressure from one of the other boats.
Yeah, I thought Go Tigers put in a maneuver too many there. I thought he might have been able to get across the line, possibly ahead of the boat in front. But anyway, there we go. That's the confirmation. KGR winning. And I tell you, when we look at the leaderboard, I'm wondering whether anyone will be able to catch him. 3rd place, Japan 2, James in 4th, Socken in 5th. Another good result, but possibly not good enough for Socken. Go Tigers 6th. Who else have we got there? Vegas in 9th. Disappointment for him. Soe Nippon in 10th. Tacitus back down in 14th, just behind Jimbis.
This
And
is
right
not
at the
his.
back.
This is not his championship, Tacitus.
No.
This is a skipper we really see play the game, being on an international level and having a hard time. KGR maximum speed sailed the shortest distance, and we can also see he took the lead from the start in the upwind leg. It looks like he did a mistake, but he actually did something great, and then he came into the victory. And with that said, Alec, let's jump into the scoreboard.
Oh, we have the result already. Excellent news. And wow, KGR now stretching his lead by a really big margin. And just, yes, mathematically, you know, I can see him losing that. But he's just on such excellent form at the moment. I can't see anyone catching. Japan 3-7, really good second place for him. Soken 4-6-2-6, now in third. And Vegas, who at a certain point was second, has now dropped down to fourth.
Yeah, I would say it's a battle in between top 6 to be the second position. It looks like KGR is quite secured up there. 4 podium position out of 6 races. That's amazing race by him. I have to say that's a very good race by him.
Yeah, I mean, incredible. Great performance from KGR, and well, you know, he is the #1 ranked in Japan and the Japanese champion of 2020. So you'd expect a good performance from him, but really, he's so dominant. I'm surprised.
Yeah, and also he was one of the guys who really carried the Japanese national team when they played against the French. He made, together with John Bond, some very beautiful things, beating up the French when they could. They took it into the French nation there and made the big surprise. But Alec, we are going now to one of the boats that the community started to love. We're going into a laser boat. And we're going into race number 7. So now all point counts. It's been doing all the time. But now the top players really need to show what they are able of. Because from a fast boat to a slow boat.
Yeah, one of the most popular, if not the most popular sailing dinghy in the world. So it's quite right that we have it in e-sailing as well. All sorts of interesting features with this boat, including the pumping feature. And when we see that in action, we'll explain exactly what that means. But right now, I'm just looking at conditions, Thomas. We've got 40 seconds to go. It's fairly even, a fairly even breeze across the course. And the boats bunching up, though, on the right-hand side of the line. That's where they want to be.
But see the colors on the water, Alec. To the left, it's getting darker. To the right, it's getting lighter. So I might find myself in the left-hand side going that way when we're coming in there.
And I think a lot of them are agreeing with you because they're now beginning to spread out with as many on the left as there are on the right. 5 seconds to go. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. And sometimes with delays and so on, it's difficult to call whether it's a clean start or not. But that definitely was. They were all very disciplined and very well timed, getting off the start line cleanly. Go Tigers, Vegas, James, all the usual suspects out in front in the early stages. And closest to us right now is Japan too.
Yeah, and Alec, right now you will see this these movements on the boat. It's called pumping. So they are moving the wind into the sail, going back to best BMG to get more speed into the boat. And see here, Japan 2 is doing it quite well, and Sohai Nippon also. But where's KGR? He's getting a penalty here behind. This is not his race, KGR. So this is the chance for Soken. And where's number 2? He's not here, Alec. I can't see him. Japan 37-17 is gone.
No, he must be there. I bet he's number 14 there, I think. Who's been given a random
I was
15.
just whoosh, where is he? But still, number 14. That's not the best.
Yeah, sometimes you get these glitches where the names just come up as a random number. So I think our overall second place boat is currently 15th place with the light blue. Right, out in front then, Japan 2 once again, Sohei Nippon. And yeah, so going back to the pumping, effectively it's like using a fan, like a sort of a Japanese fan, where you wave it in the breeze and you fill it with breeze, and that's how you create the power to move forward in the boats. There are different rules in real sailing about pumping, but there are no restrictions on the pumping here in e-sailing. So that is what they're doing. And when we have the speed above them, as they pump, you can see the difference it makes. So 4 knots, putting in a pump, got her up to about 5 knots.
Yeah, actually 7.4 for a few sec, and then dropping down. So it's speeding you up for around 3 seconds and then slowing you down. But we just saw, while you were explaining all that, we can see Sohei Nippon got a penalty by Vegas. Vegas going into second. And this is interesting when we're going downwind in the laser, because the laser is also reacting a little bit like the Barcolana boat, the J boat. You can see the wind shadow. They can attack each other downwind. Oh, close call here. Oh, wow, nice maneuvering. And this way they can slow each other down. This is going to be close.
That pink boat's got to be careful. The purple boat has
penalty. KTR takes a calculated penalty again and drops to 4th, but he was in 6th, throwing his boat into the others. Tacitus dropping down, Sucken dropping down. So KTR wants to defend his position, but who is in the lead? See, Japan 2, the best result of tonight. He got 3rd in the last race, and now it looks like he sneaks away and will take a victory.
Well, we'll see. Still some time to go, but Japan 2 certainly at 100 meters. It would have to be something pretty drastic that goes wrong for him to lose that advantage. Vegas coming back into things. He's seen himself slip down the leaderboard, but right now he's doing all he can and is holding on to second place. Here comes Jinbis on this closer mark.
Yeah.
Boat right on his tail, Sohei Nippon.
Socket 9, Tacitus after him. We have the overall second place, Japan 37-17 now in position 11. Tacitus with a penalty against Sucken, so not again his race here. But Alec, quite interesting. You saw downwind the laser boat reacts like the star boat with the wind shadow. The wind shadow is in front of them. It's because the sail, there's no spinnaker on this boat. So the sail actually captured the wind from behind the boat and throw the wind shadow in front of them. So
much smaller sail though, which means a much smaller wind shadow. So yes, it works. The theory works in the same way, but it's not as drastic. It doesn't make that as much of a difference as it does in the star. Now out in front is Japan 2. Vegas is second, but there's a real battle, isn't there, for third place with this pink boat and the purple boat of Vegas.
But let's keep an eye on this pink boat. I really need to know how we can tell that name there. I need to call one of the guys because he's overall 5th. He got a 2nd last round, a 3rd in the Offshore Racer, and now he's 3rd. So that's a guy who means business, that wants to be in top 2. He's actually with a 3rd position here. He might go into top 3 together with Vegas. That is 2nd overall.
Notice that one of Japan's sort of biggest female e-sailors, Pauline 3, never made it into the finals, which was a real surprise on Thursday when we covered that qualifying round. But here we go. It's the final leg. We've got a winner out in front with that white sail. There's no catching him. Japan 2.
Oh, KGR with a penalty there. Sailed in front of Japan 520, trying to go on the inside, and then he got penalized, dropping to 8. So theoretically, I think he can still lose it.
Jinbis trying to hold on to a top 5 place, but being chased down by 0517. And we've seen 0517 being really aggressive in earlier races, but I think just a straight line will take him to the finish line ahead of Jinbis. Or am I wrong?
No,
I'm
you're wrong.
Jinbis. Jinbis gets that 4th place. Well done to them. And 0517 will have to settle for 5th. But what about our overall leader?
Drops to 9, Alec. Drops to 9. That's very, very bad for him. And let's see the battle here. Natsu battling with Makai for not getting last. That's also an honor, not getting last in there. So let's see. It looks like Natsu was losing that one. But Alec, we were speaking about female sailors, seamanship. Also female sailor from Japan, university student, young university student. She's not in the championship this time, in the club championship. She didn't have time, but she really surprised us at the Nations Cup. Japan 2 with a victory, Vega 2nd, this beautiful pink boat 3rd, Jinbis 4th, 0517. And this will change the scoreboard, the top board. It will make it very interesting who will get 2nd. And then we have KTR with 8 points. Oh, yeah. If he does 2 of them, then he's in trouble. So
the fact that we're surprised by that 8th place, which is a very good position, but the fact that we're surprised shows you just how dominant he's been until now.
Yeah. And then we can say also position 9 and position 10. 9th is the overall 2nd place. And 10th, and then 11th, second is overall 3rd place. They will drop down after this regatta. There was no doubt that Japan 2 was in the lead from the start, but Vegas also kept his 2nd all the way, but he had to battle for it. And 3rd place, this beautiful Japanese name we need to learn to speak, will also go into a better position. I think scoreboard is already ready, so let's jump straight into it.
There you have it. Just 20 points now between KGR and the chasing boat, Japan 3717, who, by the way, is a very experienced e-sailor, 3717. He's represented Japan in the national team and in the Nations Cup. But can he bring back 20 points off the leader? I don't think so. We shall see. Vegas in 3rd, so he's moved up. 4th is that boat that you mentioned earlier. Just a point between that boat and Sokken in 5th.
Yeah, an interesting battle we have here. See Sokken, the pink boat, Vegas, and Japan's 3717. That's 4 points in between them. There's 2 races back. And remember, like, they're fighting for the 2nd place overall. That will give the chance to win this club championship, because the winner overall, the leader overall and 2nd place overall will go into a match race. And if the leader wins the first one, he is crowned champion. But if he loses, then it's the winner of the 2nd match race that will be crowned champion.
Just to clarify then, if by winning the first medal race, the first match race, that is enough for KGR theoretically to win it, is it?
Yeah, it is. But if he loses that match race, and we saw him in the starboat, that was the first time we saw him actually not performing, then he will go into a 2nd match. With that said, we are getting ready. So come on, Alec.
Yeah, no. So the battle, as you say, is all about 2nd place now.
It is. And with that said, let's jump into race number 8. 2nd last race in the qualification for getting into the match race to be crowned victor. It is the Nakra 17, a fast foil boat, a little bit bigger than the F18. So let's see how they will do.
Here we go. And another catamaran. And at the moment, I'm just looking at the radar in the top left there. We're just waiting for things to settle down on the course, the conditions, so we get a better view up there. But yeah, they seem to be spread out right across that start line.
Yeah, right now they're coming with speed, Alec, because they're racing into a reach mark. So it's the same start as the F50 right now. But so it's a little bit advantage to be on the inside, but it's all about getting with wind and time it well. Let's see how it goes.
The reach mark, the idea of that is to give them every opportunity to get really up to speed, but then it also makes it safer when they get to the marks for them just to turn and head downwind initially. So a really fast start then. Socken coming in, but picks up, manages to get round without a penalty. So well done, Socken. KGR always up there and threatening in third. Japan 3663 in second at the moment.
Yeah, and Socken coming in, KGR coming in, Japan also. It's a very open race. It's the NACRA. It's a reach start. And let's see. I'm following. Penalty to this pink boat here. I'm following it. And Alec, this is the beauty about what we're doing here. I love community. I just got a message about how to pronounce this beautiful name. And let me see if I can. It's Muchida.
Muchida?
Yeah.
Or just one Muchi?
No. 1, 2, 3 Muchi and a da. So Muchida. So that's pretty cool. Thank you for that. So he drops to 14, and that's a very big penalty he got. And the reason why he drops so much is because he tried to avoid getting a penalty at the first reach mark, and then he maneuvered panically, and then he came out of sync. And then when he came back, he was in a position to get that penalty. KTR in second, Ginbis in first, Socken drops to 7. Let's see what the boats are doing over here. When we're doing a NACRA in a reach start, then you can see there's no boundaries. So they can sail wherever they want. So it's all about reading the wind. Go Tigers. Oh, penalty going behind. James took that one.
The only foiling boat in the Olympic Games, the NACRA 17, always gives us a good show here in e-sailing. And right now, it's the leading bunch coming into this gate. Which way are they going to go?
Penalty!
They're all going for that far one. They're going for the far mark.
Yeah, and it was KG Bar winning that one, penalizing Ginbis. And Ginbis, he made a small mistake. He came from port side, and KGR came from starboard, and then he penalized him. Oi, one boat losing connection. That was not Ginbis. Oh, he's in fourth, dropping down. It was not Japan, it was not Vegas, it was not Socken, but our pink boat, don't do the commentator's curse, still in position 14. So let's see how that will come in.
Yeah, so it's Japan 3717 and Vegas currently in 7th and 9th place. They're the ones who are challenging for second place. So Japan 3717 will be wanting desperately to move up and close in on Vegas. And 3717, Shu Oyama is that sailor's real name. And he's doing everything he can now to close in on Vegas, who has moved up to 4th.
Yeah, it's interesting. And see how they're splitting up now. And see Socken going into a darker breeze, and rest of the fleet going into a lighter breeze. But they have the wind coming from the right-hand side into them, and now they're sailing against the wind. So interesting to see if Socken is winning on this one.
Yeah, let's have a look at Socken's speed. There we go, 14.3 knots in this dark area of strong breeze. Meanwhile, over on the left-hand side, how fast are they traveling?
Let's see here. Socken is 5th, but one issue is, now he's coming inside the ley line. Luckily for him, 4th. James coming out. Socken might win on this one. KGR is going to take the lead, so he's going to take another podium position, this time with a victory, Alec. Nothing can threaten him. But then we have James. We have 36.63. Vegas
into 2nd, 3rd, 4th place now.
Yeah, that's a battle. Let's follow that, because Vegas is on the inside. He has the right away when they're approaching the mark. Who will get penalized? Vegas coming in. They know James uses wind shadow instead of, but Vegas still have a chance to penalize him. Vegas winning over Japan 36. So winning one position, third. But it's not over yet. It's not over yet. No! What is 36.63 doing? Going upwind. Trying to do wind shadow on Vegas. And then he drops to 6. And maybe 7.
Disappointing result for 3717 as he comes way behind Vegas. And that sees Vegas get the advantage in the overall leaderboard for that second place and a place in the final match races.
Yeah, and let's go in and see the confirmation. We have KGR first, James second, Vegas third. That's a good result for Vegas. Socken fifth. He needs to step up after that 11th position last race. But where are our surprise? If it's right said, Muchi da. I'm not sure it's the same, but let's see. Yeah, it is the same. Wow, he's getting 12th in this position. So everything is changing on the scoreboard. Once again, Alec, in the battle for getting in second position overall.
Well, I can't wait to see that leaderboard. We have to give them time to input the data so we get the overall positions. But where will Mochida be? And by the way, from now on, I'm going to call him Mochi because by the time you've said his whole name, the race is over.
So it's Mochi. We are going to call him rest of the time. And Alec, wow, that's the beauty of doing community. That's the beauty of doing e-sailing and doing a game. If we have some questions, I'm pretty sure we will get answers from
From the community.
From the community. So that's cool. That's cool. And we just got another name. The other Japanese name we can't say is Paolo.
Paolo,
yeah. So we are getting a lot of help. Let's go into the scoreboard and then we will take the names for you.
Dun, dun, dun. There we go. So KGR always out in front, but more significantly, Vegas moves up into second place, which was not a surprise because he finished third. But what I am surprised about is Socken moving into third place ahead of Japan 3717.
Yeah, and with that, then we can say 4 points, 5 points. Yeah. So those 3 boats here, if they're not doing a mistake, or if one of them are doing a mistake, another one will take second in the J17, the last race, qualification race tonight for the match race, who will be crowned. But let's just take the names, Alec. Number 6, that's Muchi, and then we have number 10, that's Paolo. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you for translating directly for us. We love it. Thank you to the Japanese fans for helping us here in the British studio. But Alec, it's a battle for second. It's Vegas, Socken, Japan 37-17, or Muchi or Japan 49-58 that will go in to the match race final against KGR. Let's see who that will be in a few seconds.
Here we go. It looks like we're on the waters of Copenhagen. This is a new venue for us in the J70. 18 knots of breeze as they begin to choose where they want to be on the start line. And right now they're choosing the committee boat end. Yeah, we have all the sailors in position.
Yeah, and we just have the first time tonight a small glitch in the game. Amazing. Where we need to jump in and out, and it's because a lot of players out there are watching it in spectator mode, and we know this glitch here. Nope. What happened here? There's a huge glitch in it, so let's just see what happens.
This is race 9. This is all about the battle for second place. We've got 3 boats within 5 points of each other fought that battle. So we need to keep an eye on Vegas, on Japan 3717, and on Soken. They are the three challengers who will take on KGR in the match race. If KGR wins that match race, the regatta will be his. If he doesn't, there'll be a second match race. But that's all in the future. Right now, we're 10 seconds from the start of this final race, this final fleet race in the Japan Club Championship 2020. And they're just edging forward. We're going to have a few early starts there, I think. Someone's going to have to go back and start again. But meanwhile, the fleet heading off towards the left-hand side. And KGR, in the end, starting right close to the committee boat.
Yeah, but let's keep an eye. Where are they? Soken, he is in the middle, 4th position. Then we have Vegas. He's purple. He's an 8 in the middle, and just behind Sohai Nippon. Then we have we need to keep Japan 37-17. He's in 13th position, so he will have a hard time to go into that battle. So right now it looks like it's Soken, it's Vegas that's battling it out. But are Japan 49-58 or Mucci in front of them? And see who's in 2nd position, Alec. Mucci.
Yeah, so Mochi out in front. Then we've got Japan 3-0. We've got James in 2nd. Sohei Nippon in 4th. KGR in 5th. But Vegas is down in 8th. 3717 in 11th. So Soken right now has the advantage for that 2nd place finish.
Yeah, and here we see how close it is. KTR coming in. Oh, trying to penalize James. He came from a starboard, but Mucci is in a good position to pressure KTR up there because of the rule of the inside turn. But let's see how it will unfold, because Soken is coming in and joining the battle. Vegas behind him. Those two, mano for getting into the match race against KTR.
Really close, coming up to this top mark. No one boat seems to have an advantage here. This could go either way. It's impossible to call. They're so close. There are going to be penalties here
First
as
in
KGR forces out the other two boats and enforces a penalty on Mochi and on Sohei Nippon. And in the end, takes the lead. He was perfectly placed to control that rounding.
Well timed. He was waiting for the mark rounding zone to come, because he knew was he doing the maneuvering before the mark rounding zone, then he will get the penalty. But he managed to time it. But Mucci in 2nd, KTR in 1st, Soken in 3rd, Vegas drops to 6th. So right now it looks like it's Soken going all the way. But if he gets a penalty and Mucci keeps his position there, then everything is quite open, Alec. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. There's only thing that's sure, it's KGR in the match race final.
The J70 races are always open until the leading boat gets over 30 to 35 meters ahead, because in the downwind, that is the wind shadow and that is the distance that you can make up in that final leg. So it's still open, but the further KGR pulls away, the more advantage he will have. Soken currently in 2nd, then comes Mochi, then comes Vegas, and then comes Sohei Nippon. But Soken, Soken has done pretty much everything that he can do. He needs to get as far ahead as Vegas as possible. And then it's down to the maths. Vegas needs to stay in touch with Soken. Vegas has the advantage in 2nd place overall.
Yeah. And let's see how it's coming in here, Alec. You're right, Soken, he's in 2nd, but he's side by side with Mucci. And then we have KTR in the lead at the moment. Whoosh. Vegas in 4th. Vegas is coming back. This is the 4 boats that's going to battling it. It's downwind. One of these 2 boats, Soken or Vegas, will go join KTR in the match race. Mucci tried the best to do it, but no matter what Mucci is doing, will not be able to get 2nd overall.
As things stand, Vegas will take that 2nd place and make it through to the match race with the overall leader. Soken doing well in second. They all proceed round this top mark now. Our leader, overall leader and race leader is heading towards the finish line, and Socken now can only do what he can do, and that is finish in second place at best. But Vegas, if he stays in fourth, will take that second place overall.
And very lucky for Vegas, because he was so close of getting wind shadow for all the other boats, but they were trying to get away from each other. That means Vegas is not under pressure like Socken is. Socken, he needs to perform, but Vegas, he needs to drop to 6 for giving Socken the victory. And you can see he went to the left-hand side, losing momentum, dropping down. Now in fourth, Vegas in third. So it looks like Mucci was trying the best to do everything to come back in the race, but Vegas, with the consistency, kept his second place overall. But it's not over yet, Alec. We have seen disconnections in front of the finish line, so let's not call it.
Well, it's really disappointing, though, for Japan 3717 Shuo Yama. He's been sailing since the start of the year, since the start of 2020. And he likes the fast boats, though, and so the J70 was clearly not his boat. He's down in 14th, and that blows any chance he has of making the match race final. But here is Socken doing as well as could be in third place, but Vegas finishes right behind Socken, and that means Vegas makes it through to the match race final.
Yeah, and while saying that, that's going to be a very interesting final. KGR, the top sailor of the Japanese community, against the team captain of the Nations Cup team in a match race final. If KGR wins it, then he is crowned champion. If he loses the first one, we will get a second one where Vegas will have a chance to be crowned champion. And let's just have a confirmation, just to be sure. KGR first, Socken second, Vegas third, Mucci fourth, Japan 13,520, Taxi 2s. That's one of his best results today. He got a fifth. That was better. So not his race.
3717 in the end, doing okay, finishing in 8th. Made up a lot of positions on that final leg.
Yeah, but let's see how this will inflict the overall scoreboard in a few seconds. It's not ready yet, so let's just jump to studio. So Alec, if we just need to wrap up a little bit this first round or first part of the grand final we have tonight, then we can say, wow, they raced in each different type of boat, but they have one player they know to race all the boats except Starboat and Laser.
Yeah, and KGR really showing why he's ranked number 1 in Japan, why he dominates the Japanese circuit. But equally, do you know what? I'm surprised Vegas made that match race final, and I tell you why. Because in qualifying on Thursday night, he was very average and scraped into today's final. And he started slowly, but in the end, his consistency came in and he managed to make it through.
Yeah, and with that said, Alec, let's go and see the scoreboard.
Well, confirmation then that match race will be between Vegas and KGR. And Vegas really looking at those results. We were talking about coming through at the end, a second, a third and a third. So 3 podium places for Vegas in the last 3 races compared to Japan 3717, who got a 10th, an 8, 9, 10. And then Socken, who, was second, but also got a 5th and got an 11th. Yeah. It's all about, what is it? It's all about consistency.
Yeah, and I have to say, very, very good fight by Mucci Da. He only that Nacra loss he had because of the penalty and the steering at the reach mark ruined his series. See, 3rd, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Unlucky the Nacra score came in. Or else we have seen him in the match race.
But notice it's the fastest boats that Mucci struggled with. So I think, if Mochi goes away and practices more and more on those fast boats and gets used to operating them, maybe with less thinking time, I think Mochi will be a force to be reckoned with in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. Really, really. But again, when we are watching this scoreboard, Alec, let's just talk a little bit about it. We had Tacitus. We have known him for years in this game. Since we started doing e-sailing TV, Tacitus from Japan is one of the Japanese boats we have seen a lot, and he's in 12th. And I also got a private message yesterday from one of the other sailors. Let me take his real name here. Writing me saying, "Hey Thomas, all the new guys are doing such a great job." That's from Honda. Yuisho Honda. He wrote me and said, "All the good new players are so good that I even not qualified." And most of those in here are new players. New player. Shohei Nippon, we have seen before. New player. Jinbis, new player. Paolo, new player. I can just continue doing it up. But they also grew from 13 players to more than 100 players in the Spanish community, Japanese community.
But also what we're seeing, I think, seeing with that Tacitus situation, I think is also we're seeing the young gun come through. Tacitus, 54 years old. He has been e-sailing for 3 years, so he has the experience. But KGR, a student, has more time to practice, has more time to just bang out the results over and over and over again. So although he's got less experience, he does have that extra practice time that some of the older sailors do not have.
Yeah, he has. And with that said, Alec, let's go in and watch the match race. It is against Vegas, against KGR, and the winner, if KGR wins, he will be crowned champion. So the youngster, yeah, I have to say the youngster, KGR against Vegas. And we have seen Vegas a lot of times in interviews. So we know he's a little bit up age. Polite said.
Yeah, at the moment, I'm just struggling to see on my screen which boat is which. Maybe you could tell me the green boat.
The green is KGR and the purple is Vegas. Clean start coming up.
So match race number 1, and they are off, and they were bow to bow with KGR there, with the green sail on the left-hand side.
And Vegas with a good start, he's on the inside. He can control KGR all the way. If KGR, he crosses and tacks towards the mark, he will get a penalty by Vegas. Oh, Vegas goes up towards the middle a little bit early. He would actually push him all the way, but maybe Vegas was too much afraid of if he could sneak away from KGR and be in front of him. And these boats, the starboat has this huge wind shadow pointing straight backwards or straight forward when they're going downwind. It's 32 meters big. And if you're caught in that upwind, you will lose momentum. But it is downwind, the action will happen, Alec.
But it's good for us, for the entertainment and spectacle, that this match race is so close at the moment, because sometimes, how often does a match race begin with a mistake at the start and then it's all over? But right now, hardly anything in it. KGR and Vegas bow to bow, coming up to the top mark.
Yeah, and they're waiting, and KGR is getting now in a better position, because he needs to close the gap a little bit. He needs to go a little bit closer to Vegas, because Vegas, he can bear us away, and then he can tack in and penalize KGR. But if KGR, see, he's closing it now. See, he's taking it step by step, Alec. Because then Vegas can't tack without getting a penalty.
Vegas here being forced out beyond that ley line, and KGR in control here. And very now much. He tacks. Now he's in a position. He's in the position he wanted to be.
Yeah.
And he's heading toward.
I'm not sure he wanted to be. Mark. Yeah. Come on, Alex.
Well, it's the position he needs to be in because he's out in front and in the lead. And now has begun to build that lead. But as you said, wind shadow will make a big difference on the downwind leg. And we'll see Vegas quite possibly, if he gets his positioning right, we'll see him speed past KGR.
Yeah, and now we'll see, because the wind shadow is going straight down, it's following the sail here, because there's no spinnaker. So he will try to go behind KGR to do some wind shadow on him, and that's why KGR going to left-hand side, trying to actually lure Vegas too far away from the gate mark. And let's see it from the top. Here we can see the battle.
Let's look at the speeds, Thomas. 6.9, 6.5, 6.3 at the front. That is going to just drop as Vegas accelerates because he's got the clean air at the back and he's slowing down KGR.
But
KGR doing everything, maneuvering all the time to try and get away from that purple boat.
Yeah, and KGR is doing a great job, but Vegas is coming in, but a great defense. Here is the gate mark. Oh, Vegas, he needs to follow KGR around the same mark or else he will lose this race. And he does it and just closes the gap. So KGR will defend it downwind. Now we are going upwind. There we will not see much difference. Oh, they're splitting up, so maybe 3-4 meters in difference. So it's the next downwind leg, Alec. It's there we will see who will be winner of this first match race. Will it be KGR crown champion, or will Vegas push it in to a second race?
Yeah, I mean, just watching that cross, it was all clear. I mean, for KGR to hold Vegas back like that shows what a good sailor he is. Because time and time again in this boat, when it's that close, the leader generally loses the lead and is overtaken by the chasing boat. But here, KGR held on, and he continues to hold on. And now, I don't know really if Vegas has the skills to take that lead.
KGR made a very good defense, but it was only a medium downwind. Now we're going to see a long downwind, so now Vegas has more time for it. Let's go up in 2D mode, because now we can see the difference, and we can also see how fast KGR will speed up when they're going downwind, but you also see how Vegas will capture him in the wind shadow.
Let's follow this. So he rounds that mark with about a 20-meter lead, which isn't enough to escape the wind shadow. 36 meters now between them. Vegas needs to be careful. He needs to keep that gap. Well, he doesn't want it getting any wider, because the minute his wind shadow stops having an effect on KGR, KGR will be away and the regatta will be his.
Yeah, but he is captured. 0.8 knots difference. This might be just in front of the finish line. We'll see the attack. Let's just see how far away the finish line is. It is there, Alec. See, he's getting closer, so they're only halfway. So Vegas, if he's doing the attack too early and succeed penalizing KGR, then KGR can come back in the race. So let's see how this will unfold.
Down to 10 meters between them now.
Oi, that might be a mistake from Vegas.
He's gone on the attack. Vegas has gone on the attack. Oh, that's it.
No, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. He still has one more chance. But Vegas did the biggest mistake he can do in the starboat. He turned on the outside and handled the space from the inside attack to KGR. So that was very, very, I have to say, that was not the best tactical decision. Let's see if it's too late. The finish line is approaching. He's still having the wind shadow. There's 1 knot speed difference, so he will approach. It might be on the finish line, Alec.
It looked like Vegas had just left the door open to him, but then he went back on the attack and took him. So KGR crosses the finish line. He wins the first medal race. He wins the regatta. KGR is Japan's club champion for 2020, and a good fight from Vegas, but in the end it wasn't enough. KGR has been in superb form throughout this regatta, and well done. Congratulations to the young man from Japan.
And Alec, what a finish on that. And while we're saying what a finish, let me see if I can bring in KGR in studio if I can find him. I will try to get him into a studio interview if we can have him.
Well, you know, thing about KGR, you know, he's been sailing for in real life sailing for only 3.5 years, and generally sails a snipe, which isn't an option in the sailing armory at the moment. But yeah, just e-sailing for over a year now, KGR, and that by e-sailing terms, and certainly by Japanese e-sailing terms, is a lot of experience, and his consistency and his domination of this regatta shows you why he was ranked number 1 going into it and favourite to win. At the moment, he's definitely up there as the best e-sailer in Japan.
Yeah, as the best. I would just hear the committee if we can get KGR and maybe also Vegas in studio. So while we're doing that, we'll just take a small break. Please stay tuned. Then we will be ready for it, because KGR is crowned victor of the Japan VRI Club Championship. Good morning, good afternoon to all of you e-sailing fans around the world. Welcome to e-sailing TV. We are in Marseille. We are at the Sail GP Grand Finals. Behind me is the stage where the winner of Sail GP will receive their trophy. So that's a hot one. Penalty to Lilo, 14. Most of the boats are in the committee boat, sailing into each other. Massive penalties in this start.
Good start. This is superb. And look at the speed of the Spaniards.
From the start, and remember they're trying to hit that zero.
And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, skippers around the world, we are managing to have a live interview direct from Japan. It's a little bit uptime there for them, where here in Europe it's midday. Where Alec is sitting, it's 1 o'clock
Time.
yeah, we have him here, 15:15 lunch. But KGR and Vegas is sitting in Japan, where it's 10 now, as I remember. Let's just have KGR in studio. Let's welcome him in our studio. There we have him.
There he is. There he is. Toshiki, welcome to the show. Toshiki Kogure, congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell me, are you surprised by how dominant you were in this regatta?
訳しまし
通訳お願いしていいんですかね。
いいですよ。かなり支配的にレースを展開したことに関して、自分自身として驚きがあるかどうかみたいな感じです。
そうですね。驚いてます。はい。ここまで離れるとは思ってなかったです。
Yes, he is surprised at the result. Well, he was confident in himself, but he didn't expect the results going to be this far apart.
And just one last question to Toshiki. What are his targets now in e-sailing? What other competitions would he like to win?
次の、ターゲットのレガッタというか、イセーリングにおける次どういうタイトルだったりどういうレガッタを狙っていきたいかっていう話です。
今はそこまで考えてないんですけど、来年のイーセーリングワールドチャンピオンシップではファイナルに残りたいと思ってます。
His next target is next year's World Championships to be the finalist.
And he would be Japan's first finalist in the World Championship. So good luck to Shiki and congratulations on your victory.
Very much.
Okay, let's grab a word with Vegas.
Yeah, we will grab a word with Vegas. We're just getting his camera through here in studio. And this is the amazing part. Alec, he's sitting home in London at the moment. We are producing in Denmark and we are live from Japan. And in a few seconds, we have Vegas with us also in studio. And Alec, I'm amazed that KGR has a goal to going all the way to the World Championship.
Well, I don't see why he can't. It would be amazing for Japanese e-sailing if he did make the World Championship. It would be amazing for e-sailing in general because at the moment it is dominated, I suppose. I mean, the best players are from Europe. And yes, we've seen some Australians and we've seen some Americans and it is global. But the strongest ones always seem to come from the same European countries. So it would be great to see Toshiki make the World Championship final.
And with that said, let's go to the Nation Cup captain of Japan, second place winner of the VRI Japanese Club Championship. Congratulations to Vegas. Please welcome him here in studio.
Natsuki Matsura, who plays under the name of Vegas. Thank you for translating our interview with KGR there. And well done for making the match race final. Earlier on in the competition, to me anyway, it looked like you were struggling. Are you surprised you managed to come back?
Yes, I'm partly surprised. Well, I think it was in fourth race. There was a boot and I was stuck by him and I got like second to last and I was pretty much devastated. So I'm surprised that I could come back to the second place.
And, you know, as somebody who's very important within the e-sailing, the Japanese e-sailing community as the Nations Cup captain and member of the Japanese national team, this event, the Japan VRI Club Championship, has gone very well. It's given us some exciting racing. You must be pleased.
Yes, I'm very well pleased because after the Nations Cup, many Japanese boats has entered VRI, and we saw very skilled players who didn't participate in Nations Cup or the Japan Championship we held in September. So it's good to see and good to fight with those new talents, and so that this could so that Japanese community can grow for another level.
And just one last question. So tell me, you know, what are the plans now for the Japanese e-sailing? Would you like to see more involvement for the federation and so on?
Yes, we are talking with federations closely. So we want to plan for next year, and we are now growing our Japanese community, and then we are trying to cooperate with other countries like New Zealand, Australia, Singapore, like Asian countries, so we can have a regatta together, so we can grow this movement bigger, and not only in Japan but across other countries. So that's my plan to grow the community.
Wow, the e-sailing Asian Games! How exciting does that sound? I'm excited already. You need to go and organize it.
Thank you. Sorry, go ahead.
And let me jump in, Vegas. We have been speaking with the fans all day, how they can become part of this Japanese community and all that. Do you have any messages to all the Japanese viewers out there? There's a lot. Then please say it now, and it's okay to say it in Japanese.
Okay. 今日のクラブチャンピオンシップ楽しめたでしょうか。我々、J ブリックというふうに呼んでるんですけど、日本VRI クラブは、 日本人の、プレイヤーたちで構成されるコミュニティになっていて、和気あいあいとした雰囲気なんですけれども、いろいろとみんな切磋琢磨したり、クラブレースを楽しんだりして活動しています。ぜひ皆さんも興味を持たれたらご参加ください。Thank you.
And with those fast, fine Japanese words in the end, Alec, it's also time for us to say goodbye for today's fantastic regatta.
Yep, sorry I couldn't join you on camera, but it's been great to watch. And here's to more Japanese sailing and more e-sailing in Asia.
Yeah. All of you, thanks for watching. Please like and share, spread the word. And remember one thing, together you can create something great. Congratulations to KGR and talk to you later. Good morning, good afternoon to all of you e-sailing fans around the world. Welcome to e-sailing TV. We are in Marseille, we are at the SailGP Grand Finals. Behind me is the stage where the winner of SailGP will receive their trophy. So that's a hot one. Penalty to Lilo 14. Most of the boats are in the committee boat, sailing into each other. Massive penalties in this start.
Good start. This is superb. And look at the speed of the Spaniards.
From the start, and remember they're trying to hit that 0. That